I'm so sorry, y'all. There was a lot happening. There was a lot happening just there. And I was just like, I need to restart. I need to restart. There's too much happening around me right now. I can't focus on anything. I need to start over. So I'm starting over. Let's try this again. All right. So the point of this live stream is, there are a lot of people, there are a lot of new K-pop fans. There are a lot of new K-pop fans who have come into the fold and they don't know a lot about what's happening. A lot of things to them doesn't make sense. There's a lot of things that they can't quite comprehend. There's a lot of things that is still new to them. All right. And I posted in a Facebook group a while ago a little thing saying, all new K-pop fans, please drop your questions. Hello, Blink ones. A lot of K-pop fans, new K-pop fans, please drop your questions. And I'm reading from the list of people who asked questions, and I'm going to go from there. And if you have any questions yourself, drop them in the comment section, and I might be able to answer to the best of my ability. And this is primarily for K-pop fans who have been into K-pop for 4 years or less, or because I'm going based off of groups, because there are certain, hello, Sunshine Army, hello, how are you? I'm going based off of, in terms of what I consider like new K-pop fans, just based off like rookies and veterans, because honestly, most K-pop groups don't really get viewed as solid. Hello, Tia Credle. Most K-pop groups really don't get viewed as legitimate artists until like a legitimate veteran groups until the 5-year mark, and then for some groups, that's usually when they start going into the military. That's when sometimes members leave. Just a bunch of other things. A lot of things happen at once. So I'm going based off of that conclusion. Also, one more thing, please sure to like this stream, share it with your friends, just help me get this channel revived again, please, please, please. I say, even though I started listening to K-pop in 2009, it's really weird because it's some things I don't see as old, but some people see as old. Like there's some fans who I talked to about K-pop who can't. There's some fans that I talked to about K-pop who can't relate to me on certain topics because they weren't around, and it's just it's baffling. It truly is baffling. I'm so bad. Okay, so let me figure this out. So the first question is, hold on, let me find my questions. First question was, oh my God, I'm so bad. Yeah, the first question was, how do the older K-pop fans deal with negative thoughts? Like, why do you even listen to this? This isn't for you. So I deal with it just by, I do research, because I feel like I cannot properly advocate for something or stand up for something unless I know as much as I can about it. For me, I don't feel comfortable speaking on any topic unless I know enough. So I'm not going to speak about K-pop unless I've done as much research as I possibly can, and I've studied this enough so when people ask me, why do you listen to this, I can speak my truth as to why I like it. I got into K-pop because when I first discovered it, it was just music that got stuck in my head, and then I got involved in the community and the fandom, and it became, for me, K-pop is the reason why I was able to get out of my shell. It's the reason. In a way, it helped me develop my personality. Not necessarily like my whole personality is centered around K-pop. More so in the sense where it made me realize I had a personality, because I came from strict parents, and when you come from strict parents, when you live with strict parents, they try to make your personality. Like they try to create your personality for you, and that's very aggravating. So I just did whatever I could. Like K-pop really helped me separate myself from my parents, and it helped me develop my own personality independent of them.
I also developed a personality independent of K-pop. So I don't want anyone to think that my personality is completely centered around K-pop. I also, if you think about just like the way our society is set up, America is not a homogenous society. There's a lot of people from different countries all over the world, and they come here, they listen to the music that's made here, and they take it back to their countries. There's a lot of countries overseas where they listen to music made in America, and if they can listen to music in English and they don't speak English, excuse me, they can listen to music made in English and they don't speak English themselves, and they can listen to it with no problem, then we should be able to do the same. Like, I can listen to Spanish music, and if it's sung completely in Spanish, no English words, and enjoy it just fine. I can listen to German music and it's just fine. I can listen to um, African music, South African music, East African, West African, Northern African music. I was trying to say the name of a tribe, but you have to click when you like Tosa, like the Tosa music. You have to click when you say that, because it's weird. I can listen to music from the Tosa tribe. Oh, that damn click from the Xhosa people and be fine. I don't understand a lick of the language though, and like, I don't understand why language is such a barrier for people. Like, I don't have this connection to lyrics. I have the connection to the sounds, the melody, the bass line. Like, I don't have such a strong connection to lyrics and understanding every word being said to me to where I have to harp on it for so long, if that makes sense. So I just make sure that, you know enough about the genre to stand up for yourself. You know about all the good and the bad things, and you can accept the good and the bad, because some people can't really accept K-pop because they can't accept the bad, because they get lost in the fantasy world. K-pop, like, you have to accept the bad as much as you have to accept the bad just as much as you accept the good, and then you can actually be more confident. You can't really love something unless you can accept the bad with the good. Second question, Jessica girl, tell us what really happened. Sis, I ain't even get, that's a whole nother video. That's a whole nother video in itself. That's a whole nother video. Like, it's a mess. It's a mess in itself. That's a whole nother video. I can't even answer that question. Okay, next question. Why do companies make these big groups just for people to not showcase their talents when they could make numerous groups and let everybody shine? Why do more than you can? That is a matter of economics, logistics. So if I'm a CEO of a company, every artist I put out, so if I debut 3 groups, each group has to have their own management team, their own production team, their own stylist, their own makeup, their own dorm, their own everything, all right? Their own teachers, their own vocal coaches. So many of them have to have so many things, all right? And this might be easy for companies like SM, YG, not YG, for SM and JYP, It might be easy for companies like SM and JYP, but if I'm a smaller company and I'm going to call them small companies because back in the day they were small companies. I know they're bigger now, but back in the day when I first got into K-pop, these were small companies. If I'm Big Hit, if I'm Starship, if I'm Jellyfish Entertainment, like these are small companies. I can't afford to invest all of that and all these. If I have all these trainees, it's easier for me and it saves me more money to just put them all in one group, whereas making 3 separate groups. If that makes sense. Does that make sense? Blink1 says 2 sentences that I hate is when people say is, do you know what they are saying? I can't listen to songs I don't understand. Well, that's exactly what I mean. But yeah, but back to what I was saying, like, as a CEO, it would be easier for me money-wise to just make one big group instead of 3 separate groups. All right? Because I can keep track of that group. I can keep track of these groups easier. I can keep track of that one group easier. I don't have to worry about favoring one group over the other group. Everyone gets put into one group. Now, in terms of showcasing the talents, that honestly that depends on the group, because not everyone is put into a group for their singing ability. For example, these larger groups that have like, I don't know what, like 12, 13 members, I consider a large group anybody over 8 members. Anybody over eight members, I consider you a super group. Anything over 8, I consider you super groups. Um, I think these larger groups have to make up for the fact that they are going to be in cases where they can't have backup dancers. And backup dancers are utilized to help singers. So backup dancers dance hard so singers don't have to. All right. Backup dancers do all the hard dancing so singers don't have to, and singers can focus more on singing. Now, if you have a group of if you have a group of at least more than 5 members, then there's going to be cases where you can't use backup dancers, all right? And that's not always a bad thing because you have at least 5 people on stage. Most solo artists have at least 4 backup dancers, at least 4, not 2. So you have to utilize your members, all right? And there's going to be times where you have to sacrifice how many lines you have in a song to contribute to the overall performance, there's oh God, all that itches. Think about in Japanese groups, in J-pop groups, you have members who are only there for dancing, who don't sing at all. They don't sing at all. They're only just there for dancing, but they're part of the group. Kind of like that. K-pop is almost like that. However, at the same time, gotta remember, in K-pop, these people are singers. So it depends on the role of it depends on the group, depends on the role of the individual, all right? Sometimes people have to sacrifice lines for the sake of the performance. It's just it's just what has to be done, all right? And also at the same time, some of these groups are ensembles. Think of it like Broadway cast. In a Broadway cast, you have key members and then you have the ensemble, all right? Some members are just there to be ensemble, all right? Another thing is that if I have a group of 13 members, I have several different, what's 13 times 13? There's so many different subunits I can make out of a group. Even take a group of 13 members. I can make a bunch of subunits. People can do solo activities, solo music, solo like dramas or variety shows, modeling, commercials, all that. So, and that's a lot of paychecks. All right. So look at EXO, for example. All right. EXO, look at Baekhyun specifically. Baekhyun gets money from EXO. He gets money from EXO CBX. He gets money from his solo activities. He gets money from Super M. That's 4 paychecks. So EXO CBX, Super M, and solo. So that's 4 paychecks. All right. That's the benefit of being in a group. Multiple channels of income. That's one of the biggest benefits of being in a group, because you can do your own thing. And that's why I'm always I understand when people want certain artists to do solo stuff, because if you don't get to shine completely in a group, you can still do unit work, or you can do solo stuff and still showcase your talents that way, and you can still make money. Because I don't like the concept of having to sacrifice the group. I don't like that concept. I think a good example is Pussycat Dolls. Excuse me. One of the reasons Pussycat Dolls didn't work out is because Nicole really wanted to be solo, all right? And I'm not going to take anything from her. Nicole Scherzinger did a lot of work for Pussycat Dolls. She did a lot of work to help that group become successful. The downside is she did it with the intention of going solo, all right? She did it under the intention of going solo. And what didn't make sense to me is that, for someone who wants to go solo so badly, you want to go solo, but you sing everything. You sing and you don't realize, and you haven't realized that, your members make up for talents that you don't have. All right. That's one thing that Nicole had to learn the hard way, because her solo career didn't pop off in the way that she would have hoped. She's recognized as being a really good singer, but it didn't pop. Nicole Scherzinger by herself will never be as big as the Pussycat Dolls, all right? And that's an unfortunate fact that she has to deal with. All right, next question. So the answer to your question, it's more of a money thing, all right? It's yeah. Maximus Leonidas Turner says, I can never look at the second generation. I never do I look at second generation male idol. Wait, this is a typo, I think. I look at the second generation male idols. It didn't seem uncommon to have them shirtless or wearing revealing outfits. When did the transition to covered up most of the time happen? This was a concept called Beast Idols. Um, Beast Idols were groups like M Black, 2PM. The only M Black, 2PM were the two main group, and then I think there was Beast themselves. Uh, how do I explain? Like, there. This concept came. How do I explain this? A lot of it was more based on concept, you know, like a lot of the back in the older days of K-pop, like 2012 2014, the concepts were a bit more edgy. They were more like I'm an incubus. I'm trying to pull you in. I'm trying to be sexy. Like it was like a dark, sexy incubus concept. Well, not really. There were so many different concepts. It was it's mostly based on the concepts of the time. Like it's mostly based on the concepts of the time. Like boy groups did things. It was like K-pop was very scene kid in a way. Like it's hard for me to explain. Like the concepts they did were edgy and they were risque. So you had to show a little bit of skin. Like the skin they showed were concept appropriate. And for some idols, like I said, 2PM and M Black, they were considered beast idols, like these manly men idols who were supposed, that was their image, like the tough guy, the big sexy guy will come pick you up and carry you away. Like that was the thing, that was the beauty type back then. That was what made you attractive. And then as time went on, there was this weird shift to soft boys. You could say it's a break away from traditional masculinity. There was this transition to the more soft, cute boy, you know. And it's so weird because the flower boy concept has always been there, but it wasn't as mainstream. So, for example, like, I'll look at Shiny. Shiny was unique in the sense where they were the main flower boys of their time, but then, you know, fast forward to modern day, there's almost every group can be considered a flower boy or a soft boy in some way, shape, or form. You know, it's hard to explain because, you know, at the time, Shiny was really the only group that had that image. I mean, they could be sexy too. Don't get me wrong. Shiny's had their bling bling is Junghyun. Like Shiny had their moments, you know, but I think that transition happened between like 2014, 2015, that time frame, because it was still when you went to hip hop. Hip hop is not a concept. Hip hop is not a music genre that's been known to use visuals a lot. Hip hop was never a style of music that required an artist to be sexy. It required you to be lyrically talented and more tough, you know. So I hope that answers your question. Like I get what you're asking. It's just something that happened. I think it's just a matter of just taste in male visuals. Um, Another question. Someone says, why aren't there more sexiness in K-pop videos? I notice majority of the videos doesn't have sexual content. So this is funny. Back in 2014, 2015, there were a lot of sexy concepts, like a lot. All right. There was a point in time where like everybody under the sun was doing sexy concepts. All right. Like one of the most infamous cases was 4L. 4L, they have a song called Move. It was this song, all right? The song is amazing. The video itself was very, 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 very risque, all right? It was very risque. I think it got banned, actually. You had to change the choreography and everything just to get it on broadcast. Like, it was a lot. It was a lot, all right? But there was a point in time. Girls Day something, exactly. There was like 2014, 2015, 2013. That was a time when there was a lot of sexy concepts. I think it's just a matter of taste and what's trending. Like, it's also a matter of age, you know, because a lot of the groups that were doing sexy concepts were old enough to do these concepts, you know, and nowadays, you know, a lot of girl groups still have members that are minors. So you can't really do concepts like that with groups that have young members in this manner. That makes sense. So, so I will say it's just a matter of taste. It's still there. Also, you have to remember Korea is a very strategic. It's a very conservative country. So if you are going to do a sexy concept, you have to be very strategic with how you put it out because what you don't want to get banned. Like Korea likes a suggestive sexy. Like a lot of sexy videos are very indirect. It's suggestive. You know, they'll never come out and say, I wanna you in the like it's more suggestive. It's more indirect sexiness. So whenever these labels and these artists put out these sexy concepts, they have to be very careful with how they do it. All right. I mean, it's still around though. Someone says, not a new K-pop fan, not a question, but have y'all noticed how much paler idols have gotten over time? They used to be tan with some melanin, and now everyone looks like a ghost. I think that's also a matter of just concepts, because around that time they had around in earlier K-pop they had more darker concepts, so the makeup was overall darker in general. Like everyone had on darker makeup just to suit the concepts. Whereas nowadays there's this general consensus of be white and pure and like angel-like, you know? Like I guess it's kind of go back to what I said earlier. Like older K-pop idols they were more like succubus and incubus. They were like demons demons that were good at heart. That's the best way I would say. Like it was more the older K-pop idols were like they were demons that were good at heart. Whereas nowadays it's angels that are bad at heart, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. Like I think not AOA, like a lot, for example, like a lot of groups nowadays are very cutesy. They're very like very bright, very bubbly, and then they get this random like dark and sexy side. It's very interesting because like also you have to separate like stage persona from actual real life, you know, because how do I explain? Like how do I explain? Plus, some idols like have darker skin. Some idols just never look good with pale skin. They just never did. With the super, super, super pale skin, I mean, like I think Everglow. If Everglow had debuted in like 2009, their makeup scheme would be a lot darker. Much, 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 much darker. Much darker. It wouldn't be Everglow would be much darker. They wouldn't be this pale. Like it's. I think, in my opinion, from based on my observation, it's more so a concept thing. It has to do with the visuals, the overall theme of the group, the type of song they're doing. It's based more so on that. Hello, elongated mascara. Someone says, how do they make those fan chants? Someone said, how do they make those fan chants where everybody just knows when and where to say certain things? Do they, how are you a madam? I don't know what you're talking about. How do they make those fan chants where everybody knows when and where they say certain things? Do they go on media, social media, or something else? So fan chants started in the 1990s around the first generation of K-pop. I think it just became a trend that never went away. Like I think someone I don't. How have you got that checker deck? I don't know what you're talking about. It's something that started out just by like one. It started out with like one idol did it, and then it just everyone did it at once. Just something that never stuck. There are two ways that I know that happens: is either A, the group and the company make the fan chants, or B, the fans make the fan chants. Because I remember I was watching this thing. It was Xiaomi from Super Junior M when he was having his solo debut with the stop, rewind, 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 play. Like, I love Kimi. He's my favorite. Kim I don't know who Kim Hee is. According when Xiaomi was having his solo activities, I read a comment somewhere saying that the fans made the fan chants while waiting in line. If that makes sense. I like your doodlies and I don't know what you're saying. I'm going to remove into type in Kimi. Oh, okay. And I'll later. So what was the question? What was the question I was on? Oh yeah, it just became a thing. Like so, yeah, they made the stop rewind fan chants while waiting in the line. Apparently, I don't know how true that is, but it depends on the group. You know, I think it started. I think it just became one. It just yeah, and most of the time it's just like them shouting out their names in order. For other some groups have like a set fan chant, like a very very set fan chant, like Wonder Girls is like it's like for Wonder Girls, it's like Min Sunyi, Parky Un, Sami Jang, An So Hee, Kim Yubin, Lim, Wonder Girls, Sada Hey, Wonder Girls, Major Mark Wonder Girls, Wonder Shingle, Wonder Girls, Be My Baby. Sometimes it can vary, you know, like this Wonder Girls, that's their general thing. Like Wonder Girls, their fan chants was always the same. You know, like even in Why So Lonely, it was like Parky and Kim Yubin. Hold on. Parky, Kim Yubin, Parky and Lisa Me, Muhalim, Tadan, Hey Yo, Wonder Girls. I can't remember. When Why So Lonely came out, I just kept doing the original fan chants because I was just like Min Sun Yi, Parky and Sunmi Jang, An So Hee, Kim Yubin, Muhalim, Wonder Girls. So, yeah, that's just a thing. It's just a thing. How do fans that go to groups music bank / SBS performances? Oh, side note, if you want to find these fan chants, check the fan cafe. Check the fan cafes. They usually post. I hear Wonder Girls. Hey, hey. Check the fan cafes. You will normally find these fan chants posted in fan cafes. How do fans that go to a group's music bank SBS performance get tickets to the show so quickly? It depends on the group, depends on the fandom. Like, because in Korea, fandoms are like actual clubs, like actual organizations, like it's an actual thing. Almost nonprofits, actually. Like fandoms are actually like nonprofits. You know, what's happening in this comment section? Huh? Who are you talking to? Weirdo. Okay. We're not going to argue in this comment section. These might be trolls, but the fan clubs in Korea are seen more as like actual like clubs and organizations and nonprofits. So sometimes they will get special access to these shows, so that way the artist can have somebody in the audience cheering for them and knowing the fan chants and everything. At the same time, I don't know, Korea probably is the same way, but for most studio audio, for most TV networks in talk shows or just broadcast anything, tickets are unless it's like an award show. Excuse me. Unless it's like a music award show, the tickets to these events are usually free. They're usually free because they need to have a studio audience to make the noise, to make it look like there's a crowd. Like they need that live audience effect, you know. So typically, I know in America, when you go to these talk shows, the tickets are usually free, but it can vary because America doesn't do what Korea does. So there's a whole system. It's a whole system that I can't explain properly, but it's a whole thing, you know. Someone commented that it's like a first come first serve basis where you apply online, but you have to get there on time. So it's weird. Someone said, "Who is G Dragon?" G Dragon's a member of Big Bang. You should Google that. Like, you look him up yourself. Like, yeah, that I don't have to answer that. You can find that one on yourself. Someone said, "Why are there so many groups? And it seems like more pop up each month." I don't know what you're talking about. Because when back in my early years of K-pop, there was a new group every 5 seconds. Like, these companies at least tell you when they're gonna put out a new group. When I first got into K-pop, you never knew when a new group was coming. A teaser would just drop. It would make the news, and we're all scrambling to figure out who the fuck this new group is. There was never anything new. These companies nowadays, they tell you in advance. They let you know. Like you know when a new group is coming nowadays. And like I think around 2012, there was about like 100 groups debuting that year. All right. Think about it. Think about that, you guys. 100 groups. There's 52 weeks in a year. That's on average. That's two groups. That's two groups a week. That's two groups a week. Think about that on average. Two new groups debuting every single week. I mean, that's not what really happened, but that's just average. All right. It was hard back then. It's easier now. I don't know who these people are. Oh, it's just spam. I'm going to. When you got into K-pop, I got into K-pop in 2007. Yeah, I will say part of the problem is due to not even a problem. Produce 101 caused this a lot as well, because there are some companies that when they send their some companies who have the intention of making a new group, and to get hype for that new group, they send their trainees to these survival shows. And then if the trainees win, do all this thing and come back, the group is waiting for them. They win, do whatever the winner group does. The winner group disbands, and then they come back to the companies. Like Produce 101 caused a lot of that to happen, because a lot of companies were trying to get their trainees some extra promo before they debuted, and after IOI, after 101, after X1 disbanded, everybody just went back to after ISO1's gonna disband soon. They just went back to their companies and just reformed and just did stuff that way. Nowadays, it's more so because of just survival shows. Like these groups are already pre-planned. They just need the hype. Because that didn't make any sense. Okay. Nowadays, I'm gonna rephrase that entire answer. Nowadays, there's a lot of groups popping up because companies are making groups, and before they debut these groups, are sending their trainees to these survival shows to get some extra promo. And depending on whether or not these trainees get into that winning group, like IOI, 101, ISO1, and X1, depends on when that group debuts. So when we saw groups like Weki Meki and Preston and Chungha, and then we had I think what Somi was supposed to be in ITZY originally. When you see groups like that popping up, it's mostly riding off of the survival show hype. All right. Okay. I got into 17 in the late 2017. Ooh, sweetie, you a baby. You a baby. You a baby, baby. Baby, 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 baby. Baby, 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 baby. Last question is, BTS doesn't do hip hop anymore, am I right? Then why did they fight so much for it? I don't know either, sis. I wish I knew. Those of you who don't know what this person means. So if you were there when BTS made their debut, I was. BTS, when they first came out, they were more so pure hip hop, like pure hip hop and R&B, pure hip hop and R&B, pure hip hop and R&B. And then as time went on, they was trying to shift it away from that. Not completely away, because you can't have three rappers. Have you seen racist Korean commercials about colorism? Whenever you see idols in whitewash, I can't help but think it's because they find darker skin inferior. Korea's favored pale skin for centuries. So it's more so colorism than it is race. I can't explain that in this video. That's a whole different story. I'd have to make a whole separate video about that. But it's not they don't favor it in the way that white supremacy favors white people. All right, they don't favor it in that context. All right, that's all I can say. They don't favor it in the same way a white supremacist favors pale skin. But back to what I was saying. So BTS in their early years, they were more so pure hip hop and R&B. And then later on, this is around like we saw a shift away from that when they did songs like I Need You. For me, I Need You was when I Need You was when I checked out of BTS. That's when I checked out, because I Need You, it was different, but it wasn't different enough. No, it's not. It was different, but I just didn't like the song. All right. I like the ballad version of I Need You though. BTS shifted. It's weird because they, for those of you who were confused what she means, they fought for it so hard. BTS had to do a lot to prove themselves, because around the time they made their debut, that's when hip hop was slowly but surely becoming more mainstream in Korea, like super like commercial mainstream. It was becoming more commercially mainstream in Korea, and people didn't consider rappers within idol groups as real rappers, even though you have there's a lot of rappers that are idol rappers that were underground rappers at some point. Do you believe 2PM will ever get a comeback when they finish when they all get back from the military? Yes. They're doing military stuff right now. That's why they're on hiatus. No, battery's dying. Oh, my earphone's battery is dying. Okay, hold on. Can y'all still hear me? Let me know if you can still hear me. Can y'all still hear me? Can y'all still hear me? Okay, you can still hear me. Okay. So yeah, a lot of idol rappers weren't considered legitimate rappers. You know, even though there are a lot of idol rappers that were in the underground and are legitimate rappers, like LE from EXID is a very talented rapper. She's in the underground. Muriel from Brown Eyed Girls is a very highly respected rapper. It's like if you watch Unpretty Rap Star is a perfect example of the dynamic between idol rappers and underground rappers. I think Unpretty Rap Star is the best example in my opinion, because you truly see the underground rappers the underground rappers get challenged to be better performers, and the idol rappers get challenged to be better lyricists. You know, so I think Unpretty Rap Star is the best example of the dynamics between underground rappers and idol rappers. More so seasons 1 and 2 than season 3. Season 3 was actually no, I lied. All three seasons. Yeah, all three seasons. Have you gotten BTS to I don't like BTS. Why would I don't buy tickets to BTS tour. But yeah, BTS also had to go on American Hustle Life and do this whole thing with getting educated on the history of hip hop and all that jazz. Why am I blinking? Why am I blinking? But yeah, sorry, guys. I don't like BTS, so I'm the wrong person to ask if I have BTS tickets. They slowly shifted towards, like, there was a time where I did. Like, trust me, when BTS first came out, I was army hard. I was head first in where mama going. I was hardcore army back in the day. I was hardcore army, but it's weird because I wanted them to do something different. I wanted them to experiment with different styles of music, but it was getting to a point where they shifted towards more contemporary hip hop. For those of you who don't understand what contemporary blank genre is, it's when they take their foundation is one genre and they add in other elements. So BTS became a contemporary hip hop group. It was hip hop that incorporated elements of pop, of EDM, of rock, you know. So a lot of they became more contemporary. I do wish they would shift a little bit back more towards their traditional hip hop style, because they've changed. Not saying that their sound is bad. It just it's very artsy nowadays. It's just very artsy, and it's not that that's bad. I just never. To me, it doesn't make sense how you would strive so hard to be recognized as a hip hop group and then shift away from hip hop like that. I mean, it's yeah. And also, I wish they would do more club music. Like they don't do club. It's not that it doesn't suit them. It's just not. It's not that it doesn't suit them. It's just that's not how. That's not the BTS I was introduced to. And I also prefer. There's just not. There's. I need more variety. You know. There's. I need. I don't know how to explain. It's just. Yeah. It's weird. But that is the last of the questions that I have so far. I don't even want to say it doesn't suit them. It's just the contrast is too great. All right, like what they debuted for, and yes, I'm gay. What they debuted under, and then where they are now, it's just like, huh? How did we get here? Like a lot of their, I'll say, a lot of their music sounds like soundtrack music. Like most of their music, I don't want to dance to in the club. Most of their music, I sounds like the soundtrack. It sounds like a soundtrack. It sounds like music I would play to some intense action fight scene. Like on, I play on in some Fast and Furious type shit. All right. Soundtrack music's not bad. It's not bad. It's just like if to me it's they're trying to be so artsy that like I listen. I am very passionate about casual music. Like I like music that you can listen to casually and not have to think about too much. Like I don't think like for me, like you have to for me, you have to I like it better when hey, on with Sia is better than the version without Sia, period. Um I just I wouldn't call BTS kids bop. I just don't think it just they're trying to so hard to be they're trying so hard to be artsy that like I for me, I just think every song doesn't need a deep ass theory. True, like you can have deep theories. Like you don't for me, you don't have to make your music complex to be complex. Like you don't like to me, it feels like they try so hard to be complex that you just lose me at some point. All right. But that I get what you're saying, Shay. Like that, the one of the reasons why I like K-pop is because K-pop can convey complex messages and complex theories without actually having to be complex. K-pop is very generic. It's very generic music, but the way they do, it's generically complex. That's what's so weird. It's generically complex. All right, and but that's the last of the questions. All right. If you guys have any more questions about K-pop, you just don't understand, like, why does Hyuna do this? Why do people do this? Why is this artist this way? Why is this artist that way? I don't know the answers to everything, but if more so just like a specific culture of K-pop that you're trying to understand. If there's something about the specific culture of K-pop that you are trying to figure out, leave your questions down below. I'll read them when I can. Excuse me. And I'll go from there. All right. So thank you guys for watching. If I talk any longer, my voice is going to give out. So I'll get back to it and then just go from there. All right. So y'all have a nice day. It was great seeing y'all. I'm uploading a reaction. I'm uploading a reaction. I'm editing it right now. I haven't uploaded a reaction in a while, but there's a reaction sitting on my computer that I have to edit. So once I get off this live, I'm going to edit the reaction. I'm going to upload it. So like, you're getting a reaction video. It's been so long since I've done an actual reaction. But yeah, you'll see it soon. So see you guys. Bye. Yeah.